Back in August last year, I said this, unless HOVERAIR decide to send me one. Then a couple of days ago, I said this.
Samok's an idiot.
And then just yesterday, I finally said this.
Wicked!
This is the HOVERAIR Aqua, the world's first sub 250 gram waterproof drone that can take off and land directly on water. Today I'm going to give you my honest first impressions, what it's actually like to fly, and most importantly, who I think this is made for. By the end of this video, you should have enough information to know whether this orange drone that thinks it's a duck is right for you. When HOVERAIR first approached me to do a sponsored video, I was slightly reluctant. I live a good 2 hours away from the nearest beach and I don't fancy paddling around in some of the local rivers and risking Weil's disease or something even worse. But they insisted, telling me they really like my style, creative approach and influence. I think they've got me confused with a different channel. So I purchased a cheap inflatable kayak and life vest from Amazon, waited for the British sun to finally shine, which it did, in droves,
It's hot, man.
and headed down to the coast to try it out. At 38 degrees centigrade, it was a very hot, windy day on the coast, which was brilliant for testing the actual capabilities of the aircraft, but a little challenging for me to film, having to constantly control the kayak, the drone, and try to talk at the same time. I mean, let's be honest, I struggle to chew gum and walk down the street without falling over. Whilst I paddle out to get set up, here are a few quick facts and tech specs. Now, while the headline is waterproof, let's talk real-world specs here. It sports an IP67 rating, which in plain English means it's completely sealed against dust and sand and can handle being dunked in water up to about a metre. But remember, it's a floating, flying camera, not a submarine, so you can't go deep-sea diving with it. They've also built the HOVERAIR Aqua with the ocean in mind, using corrosion-resistant screws and stuff, so it can handle waves, harsh salt water and pouring rain without even breaking a sweat. Just make sure you rinse it thoroughly with fresh water and let it dry out before putting it away. And no, I'm not being completely decadent here, I'm just reusing an old mineral water bottle filled up with tap water, okay? Oh, and the lens itself is hydrophobic and anti-fogging. In plain language, water doesn't stick to it and it doesn't steam up when the temperature changes. This means that it's very rare to end up with a strange water droplet on the glass that interferes with your footage. I only saw it happen once in everything I shot, and to be perfectly honest, I didn't think it actually looked that bad anyway. It's incredibly lightweight, coming in at under 250 grams. In many territories, this means it doesn't require registration. And here in the UK, it means it can be flown in the A1 subcategory, or over people, although you do still need to register for an operator ID and flyer ID. And of course, if you find this kind of practical testing useful, then drop a like on the video and consider subscribing, and go ahead and hit that hype button as well. Now, don't let the weight fool you though. It's got a top speed of 17 meters per second, 55 kilometers an hour, or 34 miles an hour if you prefer freedom units. It boasts a Force 7 wind resistance, which matches its top speed. It features more than 10 fully automatic flight modes, including follow, orbit and bird's eye. That's top down to you and me. And crucially, you can switch to dedicated modes for kayaking, paddleboarding and foiling. Whatever that is. Those modes are specifically tuned for those activities to get the most smooth, cinematic tracking on the water. You can customize these modes either in the HOVERAIR mobile app before you head out, or directly on the drone itself before taking off. The most important setting on the automatic flying modes is to set it to follow whilst it's doing it, so that when you're paddling along, it stays with you rather than orbiting its takeoff point. I completely screwed that up with this spiral shot. When you're out on the water, you use the lighthouse controller to manage takeoff, shooting, positioning and landing, as well as adjusting the drone's framing relative to you. The tracking relies on real-time kinematic positioning, which allows the Aqua to know your exact location down to centimetre level precision, even if temporarily it can't see you. It does something using an algorithm that involves comparing the satellite error rates between the drone and the lighthouse unit to get accurate positioning. Yeah, I know, that's a bit sciencey, but just go with it, it works. Unlike other drones, the RTK, in tandem with the HOVERAIR's omni-terrain technology, allows it to cope with highly dynamic reflective surfaces, rather than relying on technologies like facial recognition, which can easily fail in those situations. But one thing to note is that, unsurprisingly, it'll only work if the lighthouse is above the water's surface, so it's not going to track you if you're out for a wild swim or something. With its 1/1.28-inch sensor, the camera shoots in 4K HDR or 1080p and can automatically crop down to vertical video for the socials. It supports all of the normal frame rates up to 60 frames per second and can also shoot at 100 frames per second for those buttery smooth slow-mo shots. I was genuinely surprised by the image quality this little thing could produce. The HDR reproduces highlights and shadows in a realistic and quite balanced way, and while you're highly unlikely to find ND filters that fit this specific design, the footage looks pretty bloody amazing without it, to be honest. For the colour grading fiends out there, you've got the option of shooting in HOVERAIR's log profile, 10-bit HLOG, with a conversion LUT available directly on their website. 10-bit HLG is also available, but personally I find the normal colour profile to be more than adequate. You get 128GB of usable onboard storage, which is plenty and accessible either via the app or the USB port on the bottom, which is protected by this waterproof bung.
Bunghole.
By my estimate, it'll hold at least 3.5 hours of footage before you need to offload it. To put that into context, I used all 3 batteries from the Flymore kit yesterday and accumulated just over 30 minutes of footage. I was flying about here and there quite a lot, so I wasn't filming the whole time. Speaking of batteries, HOVERAIR claims a flight time of up to 23 minutes on one battery, which I found to be pretty accurate, especially considering I was taking off and landing every couple of minutes. The lighthouse controller acts as your physical return to home point. When you press the return to home button, the drone flies up next to you, hovers for 15 seconds, and then lands directly on the water. Now, I had a bit of a struggle with this at first, but I think that was purely due to the incredibly choppy water that I was testing it on. The downward sensors kept spotting me and aborting the landing sequence. Speaking of sensors, this drone is specifically designed to be flown over open, wide water.
Open wide water.
Over wide open water. Unsurprisingly, it doesn't have any obstacle avoidance except for this downward sensor here. I did try flying it indoors on my first flight and managed to crash it into my lampshade. That's down to me. It does say in the manual, and it does say when you start it up, find an open area to fly it.
Move to an open area. Place the device in lighthouse face up and wait for omni-terrain to activate.
Luckily, if you get the Flymore set, you're provided with a spare float, along with spare propellers and motor covers. Extra repair kits are available from the HOVERAIR website at a fairly reasonable price as well. But on to actually flying it out in the wild. In the drone world, manufacturers are always incredibly insistent that you actively avoid water or getting the aircraft wet. So it feels really weird flying this in such close proximity to the water and landing on it. What you do is you set up your desired shot on the drone itself, which features a large OLED screen, incredibly helpful if your eyes are a bit knackered like mine. Then you literally just chuck it into the water. Even if it lands completely upside down, it cleverly detects it and uses turtle mode to right itself, and then it floats perfectly. You press the takeoff button on the lighthouse controller and up it goes. It then figures out where you are using the lighthouse as a beacon and executes your specific shot, whether that's an orbit, a droney, or just standard tracking. I also tried out the dolly track mode and found that that worked really well. One thing I quickly figured out, the rougher and more dynamic the water is, the further away you need to position the drone for it to successfully keep you in the frame. Handily, the controller allows you to adjust the drone's position and height on the fly. Thank you. HOVERAIR recommends a minimum distance of about 5 meters for the most optimum shots. Another tip is to keep the lighthouse strapped to your arm as high up as possible to maintain a solid line of sight connection with the drone. I did experience a couple of minor connection dropouts, but it reconnected incredibly quickly. Plus, the lighthouse gives you real-time vocal and haptic prompts during the flight. So there's absolutely no need to have your phone out in the water with you. And also, rather than fiddling about with the settings on the drone itself while you're in the water, which you absolutely can do, it's probably best to adjust your shot parameters in the HOVERAIR app on land before you launch. That way you can just select the shot on the drone without any fuss, throw it in the water and take off and get your shot. When you're changing the battery, there's a small white indicator strip that changes colour if there's been any water ingress. If it changes, you need to leave it to dry out fully before inserting a fresh battery. I did tons of battery changes during my testing and never ran into an issue with it. This drone is primarily for people who are really into water sports. At a pinch, you can control this like a conventional camera drone with your phone or the HOVERAIR beacon controller, but this little orange puppy really tangos best on open water. The maximum range is stated as up to about 500 meters. This does depend on your controller type and environmental conditions though. But to be fair, raw range isn't really a major consideration here. This thing is meant for documenting your personal aquatic adventures, not doing vertical power dives down some remote waterfall. And if you do end up doing that, then something's gone very, very wrong. I really like the way it tracks you and the resilience to the sea and the relatively large OLED screen which you can preview your clips on. The battery locks in place as well, so you can make sure that you've definitely got a tight seal. And just here, where there are these buttons, you can see a little indicator that shows whether you've actually got it locked in or not. The virtual rope is also awesome, effectively making the lighthouse controller a dynamic return to home point. In this clip, I chucked the drone into the water and purposefully paddled away from it. I was actually starting to get quite nervous because I'd lost sight of it. But then this happened.
Right, where is it? There it is! Hey! Hello!
It returned to me like a wee puppy and landed nearby, which was so cool. This mode is essential in choppy water and windy conditions where you're likely to be drifting all over the place. Now, the bright orange colour may look a bit tacky, but it's used for a very good reason. It really stands out in the water, which is essential if you're in rough seas like I was. There's a reason life rings are made in this colour, and it's not because it's a fashion statement. Now, if there was anything that I would suggest for a version 2 of this drone, it would be perhaps a fisheye obstacle avoidance camera on the top, so that if you're paddling down a river, it can avoid tree branches and those sorts of things. I was also thinking that it could do with a quick detach method for the floats, because I was a little bit worried about keeping this in my bag, but actually, for a person like me who forgets their own head sometimes, having a quick detach mechanism on this probably wouldn't be a good idea.
Zamok's an idiot. Packed virtually the whole frickin' studio except for the HOVERAIR Aqua lighthouse controller.
Now, if you're thinking of picking one of these up, the Fly More combo is easily the best bundle to go for. It comes with 2 spare batteries with waterproof pouches, a full spares kit, a battery charging dock, the lighthouse controller, and of course the drone itself. If you purchase the HOVERAIR Aqua using my affiliate link and use the special code in the description, for a limited time, you can qualify to get a free HOVERAIR Aqua wetsuit cover worth 59 quid. I haven't even got one of them. And the channel gets a little bit of a kickback from HOVERAIR, but it doesn't cost you any more. And literally just before this video was published, we had a firmware update. Pause the video if you want to have a look at the details. Oh, and because I know people will ask, that kayak is pretty good for something under 100 quid. So my Amazon affiliate link is down there as well for that. If you want to see the absolute chaos of this shoot, there's a massive hour-long multicam edit waiting for channel members, so hit the join button. Huge thanks to HOVERAIR Aqua for sponsoring, and my son Tarquin and his girlfriend Tato, not their real names, for the extra angles and guarding the gear. Drop your questions in the comments or click on the HOVERAIR link below for more information. Click up here if you want to up your cinematic drone game, or here because, well, you just might enjoy this. Bye for now.
Can't wait till I'm back up on my feet.